Jain friends, today in this lecture we will discuss some object-oriented programming concepts in Java. So these are the outlines of today's lecture: class and objects, method overloading, inheritance, method overriding, and data abstraction. So what is class? Class is a group of objects that are combined together, but in Java it is a user-defined type that have some attributes and methods. Attributes are something that describes the data and methods that defines the behavior of the class. And these combinedly two are also known as member function of the class. An instance of a class is called as an object. So class is the combination of attributes and methods. Now let's see the syntax of class. Firstly, we will have modifier of the class, then class as a keyword, then class name, then curly braces open, then we will define attributes, then we will define constructor if any, and we will define the method inside this curly braces. So the modifier, the class as an keyword, then class name, then attribute, constructor, and then method. Now, how we will define the attributes? To define an attribute, we should have first modifier, then data type of the attribute, then attribute name, and if there are some initial value, then we will have some initial value. For example, I am defining a class A, so I am taking two attributes X and F. X is kind of private and F is kind of private also. This is integer type, this is float type. There is no initial value, there is initial value 0.2. Now, how we will define the methods? To define a methods in a class, so firstly we need to define the modifier of the class, then return type, then method name, and if there are some arguments, then we will define arguments, then curly braces open, then curly braces close. Now, for example, I am defining a class counter that is publicly accessible. Then there is a keyword max and there is a keyword value, and now I am defining a method that's name is inc. So first I write modifier, then return type, then method name, that is inc here. Now I am doing some calculation. Initial value, I define keyword here value and max here. So value is less than max, then I am doing increment of value plus value. Now this method is open here, this method is close here. Now this is the if statement. So in this way we can define a method inside the class. Now another method is defined here, get value, then again curly braces open, curly braces close. Now this is the closure of class. So in this way we can define methods and keywords of a class. Now how we will access the member of the class? So to access the member of the class, we need to create the object of the class. For example, I have a class counter and these are the two keywords, two attributes, and this one is the method and this one is the method. Now to access these attributes and methods, I need to create first the object of the class. So to create the object of the class, there is a syntax, class name, object name, new keyword, then constructor of the class. Now to access these methods or attributes of the class, we need to do object dot member. So object is C and member member are INC, and similarly object is C and data member, or you can say method, is get value. So to access get value or INC, we need to do object dot method name. So in this way we can access the method of the class. Now next concept is method overloading. When we have a class having many methods with the same name but having different parameters, then at that time we will say that this concept as a method overloading. Overloaded method must differ in their type, number of their parameters. So there will be difference in the data type, or you can say return type, and their parameters in case of method overloading. Overloaded method may have different return types or may not have different return types. So let's see an example of method overloading. For example, I'm defining a class that name is overload demo, and there is a method called void test, right? And there is again a method name is same as test here, but there is no argument and there are one argument. Now again there is a method called test. Here there are two arguments, A and B. There is one argument A and there is no argument. So there are three methods named with test but having different argument value. Now again there are one method with the same name as test, but the argument type is different. Here argument type is integer, here argument type is double. So there are four methods inside this class method overload, but all the methods have different argument value. So when we will access these methods with the object of this class, then compiler will differentiate based on the parameters that are passed inside these methods. So there is no parameter. So no parameter, this function will call, this method will call. With one parameter with an integer value, this method will call. Two parameter with integer value, this method will call, and one double value, this method will call. So in this way we can define the example of method overload. And this one the output of this program. Now next concept is inheritance. The process of extending a class in an object-oriented programming is called as an inheritance. A class that is inherited is called as a superclass, and the class that doesn't inherit is called as a subclass. So there is two things, one is superclass, second thing is subclass. The class inherit all the instance variable and methods that is defined by its superclass, and subclass and superclass have a relationship that is called as a kind of relationship, right? So to inherit a class you need to use a keyword that is extends. For example, if there is a class A and there is a class B, A is a superclass, B is a subclass, and we want to access all the methods and variables of class A, so we will use the keyword in between extends. Inheritance have its various types, but in Java multiple inheritance is not supported. So what it means, a class can be super class of itself. So let's see an example. So first type of inheritance is single level inheritance. So let's see, there is a class A, there are some attributes x and y, and there is method get. By default it is public in nature. There is another method called show, and this one is also public in nature. Now a class B is extending a class A, so I will use extend keyword here. Now just writing the extend, get and void automatically will come inside the class B. Now when we will create the object of what? Object of A. So what I can do? A dot get 5, 6. This method will call. A dot show, this method will call. Now if I want to access these two methods with get and show with the object of B, what I can do? I can create the object of B like this. And I can do ob dot get, and I can do ob dot show. So in this way, subclass can access the value, the method of class superclass A, like get and show. So both methods can be accessed with the object of class B. So this is a single type of inheritance. Let's see an example of multi-level inheritance. So there is a class A, and these are the members of class A. There is a class B, and these are the member of class B. Now B is extending class A. So all the methods that are public in nature will automatically come in this class B. Now there is another class C, and class C is extending class B. So automatically the method that is public in nature will come inside class C. So when we will create the object of class C A, so I can access what? I can access this get method, and I can access this show B method as well. I can write A dot show B. I can write A dot display, or I can write A dot get. This is show B. So in this way, there is a class A, there is a class B, and there is a class C. So B is extending what? A methods, and C is extending what? B's method. So this one is multi-level inheritance. Now next concept is method overriding. When a method is in a subclass have same name and type, signature as the method in its superclass, then this concept is called as a method overriding. When an overridden method is called within a subclass, it will always refer the version of that method that is defined inside its subclass, not the superclass. So the version of the method defined in superclass will be hidden. So this concept is known as method overriding. Now let's see an example. There is a class A, and this one is the attribute of the class, and this one is the method of the class, and this one is also the method of this class. And there is a class B that extends A. and inside B class, this one is the constructor of this B class, and I am accessing the superclass method like this. I can use super keyword A comma B. So this one I am accessing the constructor of A class inside the class B, and there is a method name as show here. There is a method name as show here. There is no argument. There is no argument. Now, when we will create the object of B inside the class override where I am writing my main method and I am creating the object of B, I can access this show and show of what? B class show and A class show, both. But when I am creating the object of B class, I will access only this show, not this show. So this one will be override by this class subclass, right? So you can see that I'm printing the value of K in this show, so output will be K equals to 3. So this concept is known as a method override. Now let's see another concept called data abstraction. Sometimes we want to define a superclass that declare the structure of a given abstraction without providing its complete implementation of every method. So such a class that determines the nature of the method that the subclass must be implemented. So to declare abstract class, we need a keyword called as a abstract. So to define abstract class, we will use abstract keyword just before the name of the class or class keyword. Abstract method can be defined in this form: abstract as a keyword, then type, the name of the class, then name of the method, and then parameter list inside the method. So if we want to define a method as an abstract method, I will use abstract keyword just before the name of the method, and if I want to define a class as an abstract, I will use abstract keyword just before the name of the class or class as a keyword. Any class that contains one or more abstract method may be declared as an abstract. Any class that have some one or more abstract method can be a class, simple class or abstract class. If there can be no object, there are no object of an abstract class. So what it means, we can't create the object of an abstract class. And one more thing about the abstract is it can't be declared abstract constructor or abstract static method. So we can't define the abstract constructor or abstract static method inside the abstract class. So let's see an example of abstraction. So I'm defining a class A as an abstract class. So I will use the keyword abstract here, and I'm defining a method that's name is call me, and this method is also the abstract method. Right. Let's see, there is no definition defined inside this class because this method is abstract method. The abstract method doesn't have the definition. So where we will define its definition? A class that will extend this class. Inside that class, we will define the definition of this call me. And now another method is call me to. This method is not abstract. So there is a definition of this method inside the class A. Now this class is get closed here. Now there is a class B that is not abstract type. So this class B can extend A, and there is a method called me. This method is the same method that is declare inside A. Now we will provide the definition of this method inside the class B, because B is extending class A, right? Now I can access this call me method with the object of what? B object, not the object of A. So abstract class doesn't have its object. It method inside the class A can be accessed via the object of a class that is extending this abstract class. So I'm accessing call me and call method. Both are the method of what? Class A. So this is the example of data abstraction. Now let's see some other concepts of object-oriented programming in the next class. For today, thank you.